It's great to see everybody. I'll convene this meeting of the Grafton Public Library, where it's a policy subcommittee. And before we get started, as a preliminary matter, I'm going to read the draft script for the remotely conducted open meetings. So this is Aaron Vandestein, the chair of the Grafton Public Library Policy Subcommittee. Please permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Beth Schreiber.
Here.
Debbie Jackson.
Here.
John Babrisky.
Here.
And anticipated speakers on the agenda, please respond in the affirmative. I see Christy joining us tonight. Hello, Christy.
Hello, here.
Any other anticipated speakers? Okay. So good evening. This open meeting of the Grafton Public Library Policy Subcommittee is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find on the town's website at www.grafton-ma.gov, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely as so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the Grafton Public Library Policy Subcommittee is convening via Zoom video conference as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and that take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. As for materials, all supporting materials that have been members of this body are available on the town's website, unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along with the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. So we're now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda, and after they conclude their remarks, I will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. And for any response, please wait until I yield the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in colloquy with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. For any items with public comment, after the members have spoken, I will afford public comment as follows. I will first read public comments, questions received in advance of the meeting, followed by real-time board or applicant responses. Public comments during the meeting will be conducted through the chat feature in Zoom. And then I will read real-time comments or questions typed by computer participants in the chat feature, followed by real-time board applicant responses. And finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Great. So turning to the agenda, let's see what we have here. Approval of the minutes. November 2nd and January 4th, 2023. So I'll open the floor to any motions.
So this is Beth. I'll make a motion to approve November 2nd. Sorry, John.
Okay, motion made. Any second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of the motion? Aaron, aye. Beth?
Aye.
Debbie?
Aye.
And John?
Aye.
Great, I declare the motion carried. Okay. There's another item for January 4th minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the January 4th minutes.
I second the motion.
Great, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, Aaron, I. Beth,
Aye.
Debbie,
Aye.
and John.
Aye.
I declare the motion carried. And thank you, Debbie, for your due diligence with these minutes. They're really great. And if you're not getting a lot of feedback, then that's probably because you're doing a good job. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Ongoing business, we have the draft art display policy. Do we have an update from legal?
Yeah, I did get in front of her today, but she had not had an opportunity to review it. So what I did is that I just sent this to you and I'm looking for feedback in the next 2 weeks. Yeah.
Was there any discussion with the town regarding hanging any art?
No.
Okay,
Was I supposed to ask the town about? Oh,
Um,
custodial.
yeah, the custodial.
Yes, I have not.
Okay. All right, any further discussion about the draft art display policy? Okay, next is the security camera policy update.
So I brought this to legal and it was a simple question. I had asked, is it worth it to put in some kind of a disclaimer in the policy to say that really the policy only applies to library property? I think we just can't, our footage does not cover Upton Street or South Street or the Common. And she said, no, you can just deny the request. She did suggest that instead of using the security camera request for footage form that I came up with a couple of years ago, we can just change the language in the policy to say public records request. And that covers it. And then that has its own like set of deadlines when somebody asks for anything that's public record, like, you know, meeting minutes. I had a while ago sent out a draft of the security camera policy that kind of just reorganized it. And I also added the appeals process to the bottom. So if you give me a minute, I'll screen share it and we can take a look at it. If we change even, you know, the name of the form or add the appeals process, it should probably go to the full board for review again.
Yep.
So I can pull that up. Minutes, security camera. So I had track changes on and I just accepted them all because the changes I made were like, you know, putting the Roman numeral here and lettering everything. And this was Marty's suggestion from a while back that it just makes it easier to refer to when you're explaining it or if there's a violation. So it's under use and disclosure of video records where we would change the security camera request for footage form to public records request form right here. And then I added, you know, I'll format this a little bit, the appeals process at the end. There's 2 changes.
Okay,
And she felt that was sufficient.
great. I don't have any further comments, but I'll open the floor to anybody who would like to discuss either what's in the policy currently, any questions for Beth, or in discussion with legal. But certainly, you know, if we feel this is ready to go, we can bring this to the Board of Trustees.
This is John. I just want to make sure I understand one thing. You said that we can change the word to be the public records request, right? Or I think you already did.
Yeah.
And then you were told that if someone requests something that we just don't have the footage for, we can just deny it. Is that?
Yeah, we can say
Okay.
no such record exists, that we've done our due diligence.
Okay.
I even have like a form that I can send or that lists all of the cameras and has like a screenshot of what their coverage is to show like if the camera had been zoomed in or if it had been angled differently, maybe we could have provided that, but it's really geared, like everything is geared to look at just the parking lot or just the building entrances and exits or the entrances and exits from the inside of the building. So it's really not like, even like after the fact, I can't, you know, change the camera angle or zoom in to look at what's happening at the Grafton Country Store or across the street at the bandstand. The camera out the front only angles down at the front steps.
Yeah. Yep,
Yeah.
I wasn't debating that. I was just
Okay.
I just wanted to understand like
Yes.
the
Yeah,
process with that official form, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's not a, to be clear, it's not a, no, we're not gonna look that up for you. It's, we have reviewed our camera footage and there, no such footage exists that you're requesting.
Gotcha.
Because XYZ.
So I think that's really smart. You know, because you don't want to waste their time, you don't want to waste your time, you don't want to waste the town's time or the, you know, the police, by just, you know, having little thumbnails saying this is what we're covering. You know, did the occurrence happen in this area? Well, no, it was way over here. Then probably not worth our time to try to get those records. So how would you explain that to somebody? Is there a form or a web page or a document or something, a handout that you can say, this is our coverage?
Yeah, I mean, we could make it an attachment to this policy, but sort of for staff purposes, I went through and wrote, you know, here are the camera groupings and here are the angles.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah, so that if say there's an incident report and it turns out that we need camera footage for the lobby, then I can say, then a staff member can quickly at a glance go, okay, it's these 3 cameras that we need to look at.
Okay. Thank you. Any further discussion on the security camera policy?
Well, I just have a question. So are we at the stage where we need to send this out to the larger board?
Yep.
And
I
then
think-
we'll review it at the next meeting?
Yeah, I think so.
So Debbie, I would say that the board is requesting that they have the policies which are to be voted on a few weeks in advance, right? So I think at this point, we could probably give that one pretty quick and try to bundle it with anything else we want you know, to bring up for vote. So far, I think it's just this one. Okay. Any further discussion on the security camera policy? Okay. Next item on the agenda is the parking policy. John, do you have an update for us in regards to merging those documents?
Sort of. So I think it was Beth who had actually merged the 2 documents, kind of like cutting and pasting. And then I did go through earlier this week and just read through it. I think there was really just one change which I suggested, which was really that it was referring to like the charging policy as like a separate document. And then I think there was some minor formatting and things like that. There was one thing I noticed, which was the text for the text at the bottom. It just says it said something to the effect of like voted on or something like that. Oh yeah, the very third. Oh, that's
Well, that's extra.
doubled. Yeah. Compiled and voted by a board of library trustees. I don't want to be like a grammar police here, but
Sure,
I
if
just
there's a
it
better way
sounds
to say something. Go ahead.
no, I don't know. I mean, it sounds funny to me, but I don't know if what the correct way to say it would be. Is it voted on or we can just say approved?
I think approved. I think newer,
That's-
I realize, I think newer ones just say approved and then revised or reviewed. So
That sounds good to me.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
the original policy is predates August 28th. When we moved to St. Andrews, we redid it. Then when we moved back, we redid it again. So there would be a new date, I think.
Yep.
Maybe not.
So thinking about the charging rates and whatnot, did we feel that was a good idea to include those in the policy or try to have people reference it otherwise? I mean, I think this is, I don't want to hold up this particular
Mhm.
policy by, determining if we want to add fees in there or not. It should be posted somewhere.
Yeah.
I just feel that, like you said at the last meeting, Beth, in the town is looking to get some more vehicle charging stations, and this may all change, very quickly.
Mhm.
to match what their rates are. I don't know. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
Um, yeah, I would say take out the pricing entirely. So instead of the fee is $1 per hour, we can say an hourly fee will be assessed, scan the app on the parking meter to get the current rate.
Yeah.
I can just type that in the next line. An additional fee will be charged or will be assessed.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that sounds great.
And F, F will require an update as well.
Station. Right. I like semicolons.
Mhm.
Says, when all charging stations are occupied, there is a full occupancy surcharge. In addition to the
Um,
penalty fee.
well, you said an additional fee will be assessed earlier.
Just leave it
Yeah.
at that.
Can do that.
I haven't looked to see how much we've collected so far.
Yep.
I think it's around $100. So,
I think there was a electric vehicle charging the other night, Tuesday, when I was over there Monday. I think it was Monday. It's very busy Monday. I'd love to see how busy our library is during the week, because I'm generally just there on Saturdays. Okay. Yeah, I think this is ready to go to the board. Pending other comments or questions.
we might do a little more formatting tweaks, like
Yep.
the last document we just had open, all the A's were lowercase,
Yeah, I mean, if you want to wordsmith some of it, that John and I, as members of the trustee board, will have the opportunity as the other trustees to review it. So I think you still have some time to kind of clean it up if you want.
Did you paste this back into Word? Is that why it got a
I
little?
did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. A little funky.
Okay. Well, thank you, John, for reviewing this, and thank you, Beth, for coming up with the idea to merge them together. I think that was smart.
Yeah.
Very good. Any other questions or comments or discussion? Okay, so I'd like to bring this to the board
Great.
for the next meeting, as well as the security camera policy.
Mhm.
Okay. Excellent. So on to new business. We have the inclement weather policy. I just pulled it up from the library's webpage. But was there anything in particular that we as a committee should take a look at and see if it still makes sense? I don't have anything specific.
I think I wanted to make sure, as with other policies, that anything that's procedural, I just want to make sure that nothing is in there. So like, we don't have see, click, fix anymore, and that's a procedural thing.
Yep.
So
The whole section is titled procedure.
I know.
So can we
Well, that's
delete that whole section, or is there some things in there that we need to keep?
Yeah, I think this is like 1 and 2 are policy. 3 is policy. 4 is policy in relation to another policy. 5 is policy. 6 is procedure. But it does address what to do if 1 through 5 don't apply.
Okay.
And just to be clear, you have the procedure somewhere else for the staff?
No, I'd probably have to make a new document. Like for that, I mean. I think the only thing I want to take out is C-click fix. And I wanted to make sure that it doesn't say that staff are supposed to call in, because that what used to be part of the policy, that I didn't notify staff. They were responsible for finding out if we were closed based on the first 5 conditions. And then they could call and listen to an automated message that instead of saying, thank you for calling Grafton Public Library, please press, 1 for your extension. It would say, thanks for calling the library is currently closed. And I no longer have control over that. So I wanted to make sure that was eliminated. But I don't see it here, so. So like that needs to go away.
12 as well, or or
Well,
part of it?
Yeah, I think you just remove the C-click fix. Patrons can also call. Do you want to say the town?
I don't know how the town feels about that.
Well, right. Patrons can always call the town. We don't need to tell patrons they can call the town in our policy.
We will tell them if they come and complain.
Yep.
Yeah, we've done everything we can to move it forward.
Yes.
So I'm going to take out telephone message at number 14.
Mhm.
This website and social media.
Yeah, at the end of 15 as well.
Thank you.
So that says staff must register with the code, Grafton Code Red. That's more procedural, right? You can.
It could be anybody
say
can
that.
register for it.
Yeah.
Staff have to, the public may.
um,
I mean, we could take out
So,
that.
yeah. Staff will defer to the, Grafton Code Red electronic messaging systems, if you really wanted to leave that in. To kind of describe what they're following, right? It's like, they're not just making a decision in a vacuum.
And I already said that closings were posted to the website in number 14, so that can go.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Okay.
And Beth, on 15,
Mhm.
it says the town uses Grafton's Code Red electronic messaging system and will get an alert. And patrons will get an alert, or subscribers.
Subscribers. There we go. Thank you.
Do you want to say something about deliveries? I mean, you kind of call it out in number 16.
Yeah, I can take this out because it's part of emergency closure
Yeah.
procedure, so
Okay.
I don't think I need that.
And, are we concerned with, like, you don't have a delivery, it's not like a FedEx or UPS that if people want to get something from another library, if it's delayed for any reason, including weather,
Mhm.
you guys don't have any sort of like SLA to get stuff. to
Yeah,
you.
the delivery message is about if we're closing, we need to tell the CW Mars Optima service not to send the delivery drivers to the building if it's closed. So again, that's like an internal procedural thing. If UPS shows up, they just drive away, but Optima can be in direct contact with the drivers and avoid us or change their route if we're not available, so.
Yeah, so my point was if a patron's expecting something,
Oh,
but they never get any sort of ETA anyways. Like
No,
it
5
shows up when it
business
shows up, and then they get an alert on their phone.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I think we just need the appeals process at the end.
Can I go back up to number 9? Debbie, your thoughts? Library plot must be plowed and sanded and sidewalks cleared before staff arrive. So we continue to struggle with us assuming that we're going to get taken care of as a municipal lot, and DPW not being able to get to us because the roads still aren't done. So I have to be really proactive to get information about when are we going to be able to open. So is this I think I just want to take this out too, because I feel like that's also procedural.
Yep.
And maybe say staff and patrons.
Yeah,
Well, I think the rest of it's okay. Just gonna look at the boilerplate at the top again. And maybe, again, Debbie, so I think what we decided is we'll have a phone tree. I will communicate with some staff. And then, Debbie will call everybody else.
yeah,
It's their
like
meeting, so-
that second line, I mean, that's not really a policy, that's public policy, right?
No.
It's really internal,
Right,
policies or procedures, or Grafton procedures about, sick pay or, unpaid leave or,
Mm,
was there any big reason to leave that in this, public policy?
hmm. I think that the other examples that I saw had this.
We probably had it in here a long time.
Yeah. I would assume this, I believe that this is just right out of the employee handbook. And it would be part of a union contract going forward.
Yeah,
So-
I feel like the second and third paragraphs are both employee specific, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, well, this too. Well, it's about pay, so.
Yep.
And to be clear, removing it from this policy does not change what we provide currently to town employees.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, but I assume that's documented, in whatever contract they have with the town, right?
Or will be, yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
all right. This is much more concise. Thank you.
okay. Any reason, well, perhaps, so we're right in the heavy weather season, right? Is it too much to also bring this to the Board of Trustees? I would say no, because, there may be some discussion, but really what we're looking for is, we've reviewed it. They may want to know what's been taken out. I know from time to time,
Yeah.
I know we've been just kind of snipping and cutting. So I don't know how we want to communicate that. But I feel like we could bring this one to the board too, because we're in that season and now's the time. I feel like now's an appropriate time to bring it to the board.
Okay.
John, Debbie?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I can include in the notes what we're taking out, and then if they want to refer to the notes, they can refer to the notes to see what's been removed.
Is that too difficult for either A, you to do, and B, to understand what was taken out by somebody who's looking at the document?
I don't think so. You have the tracking on there, right, Beth?
No.
No.
Exactly. So now I'm like, can
It's a
I?
recording. It's a
I just,
recording.
I know, well, yeah, that's true. I did just, I mean, I can just like completely undo.
I think you could just
Undo,
summarize,
and then-
to save everyone some time, I think you could just summarize it as, we removed employee specific verbiage from the policy and other outdated services, essentially, something to that effect. I think that
John,
was generally
Yeah.
what it was.
I like the way you think, John, and certainly this is not a new policy. So a trustee can certainly look at the current policy on Grafton's website.
Mhm.
Okay,
I didn't overwrite it, so I still have the original and a now edited version.
okay.
Which,
Thank you, John.
which might actually, you might be able to just see everything I just did, even though I'm not screen sharing. We'll see.
Okay. Any further discussion on inclement weather policy? Oh, and you'll add the the appeals process at the end?
I had, yeah, that's
Okay,
what that's in
great.
there now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, with no further discussion, the next item on the agenda is the food slash kitchen policy. So I marked up my copy a little bit. I can go through the couple items. Some were just grammatical, others I felt a little bit more information was needed. I'm going to try to work through my comments, if I could go first.
Mhm.
Okay. So just the second paragraph. I think there's just an extra comma somewhere, but then it says, reminder the policy may be redirection. I think it's just redirected. Where am I? Oh, I guess I'm looking at something
Jurisdiction.
different. Why do I have something different?
If staff emailed me to tell me that there was a correction, I may have already corrected it.
Okay,
Yeah, was
Um,
it here under jurisdiction?
It's the fourth paragraph that Aaron's talking about,
Oh,
actually. The
Yeah.
copy
Yeah,
we
okay.
have from the email, it has only 2 paragraphs in the beginning.
okay.
interesting.
Also, the first sentence in the second paragraph says, all meetings convened during operating hours are considering public events. I think it's supposed to be considered.
Okay. Okay, so I think that's probably fine. We can scoot down. So under general, I have B, I think. I don't know if the word confiscated is too heavy. But you know, you could just say maybe discarded.
Okay.
Because I don't know that
That's
Mm.
unintended food and drink, maybe. Yep.
Do we need to
Um,
add that their mother doesn't work here?
No.
Okay.
On line C, library users are liable for any damage to library materials or equipment. I would say as a result of food or drink brought onto the premises, because it didn't really seem to clarify. It just says you're gonna be, and maybe it was written that way to show that, yeah, no matter food or drink or you just you know, ripping pages out of it, you're gonna be. So, but I think since this is a food and beverage policy, I thought it made sense just to add that.
Yeah.
And
Can we
then,
add in
go ahead.
library materials, equipment or property, because like rug cleaning is at the forefront of my mind right now.
Yep.
While we're not hiring somebody to do it and we have a rug cleaner, it's still time and effort. So.
Yep.
All right.
So I added line E because I felt it wasn't really called out specifically in the policy, but I wrote for large quantities of trash produced, you may be asked to take trash with you. I don't think it's fair for you know, the library to have to take care of, you know, bags and bags of your trash that are produced as, you know, an event you have. But I don't know. I mean, does that seem to violate anybody's personal rights for using public, you know, property? I feel like any other property in town, they wouldn't allow you to just toss all your garbage in trash cans and then it'd be an eyesore until the next time, you know, custodial comes.
Yeah. I would say it tends to be an issue for the community room if there's an after hours event. And in that case, I know for one event, people help me tote things to the dumpster, like the meeting conveners helped with trash and recycling. We also have like attractive smaller bins that have covers on them in that room. We're actually looking to get additional ones. But the custodians also have much larger rolling garbage bins that are an option to, you know, pitch things into. I think that, there is this issue with, we don't have custodial on Saturday, so if there is, say, a Friday night program and they clean up but toss all the trash and it stays in the building, then it will be stinky. And if there's another meeting on Saturday or Saturday night. it's
Yeah, or
not-
even Sunday. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
people are walking into Monday.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because I kind of feel like working with the Cub Scouts or the Boy Scouts, it's like, trash in, trash out, carry in, carry out kind of thing. But that's the Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts. It can't be expected everybody to hold those standards, but no, it's just, yeah, I can just imagine like piles and piles of trash just waiting for somebody to take it away.
Well, could E be worded for large quantities of trash produced at room rental events? You will be, something about you will be shown where to dispose of the trash, and we show them where to take it when they come see the room, or when they drop off their deposit, or when we meet with them, whenever. I don't think that's unreasonable. Like, if you have,
Well, I mean, if
I
you're
know.
going to be meeting with somebody for a room rental, that could be more procedural, right? You can
okay,
you can talk them through, like, if you're going to be producing a lot of trash, here's how you can get rid of it, and provide some direction. I don't think it needs to be called out in the policy, unless we want to take it
just-
out completely. Go ahead.
indicating that you can put it at the end of, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see where my finger is. You cannot see my finger. Instead of taking it with them, they'll be asked to dispose of it outside of the building, something like that. Or I don't know,
Yeah, that's actually,
because I can see that happening if somebody rents the room, like even on like a Sunday night, and they leave a bunch of stinky food in there. We come in Monday morning, it's gonna smell awful.
well, that defaults to here.
Okay,
So yeah, this is general. And then specifically food, trash must be disposed of.
oh,
out.
okay,
And that's even when we're open, the preference is for it to go outside.
Yep.
I can add more. Poster.
And then, so line B, 2B, just it says to others. I think it was my word kept suggesting that I use more language there, when it highlights it in blue. So I just put other patrons. I don't know if that sounds better, and just track other patrons. Yeah. Let me see. And then the last thing I have, and then I'll certainly turn it over to others.
I'm gonna add patrons.
Say again.
I want to, and C, I want to add to patrons, because a staff member said, do you mean I can't get takeout if I have a dinner break? And I said, no. Because
Yeah.
we know that it's going to you, but we don't want someone coming in and saying, where's Peter? I have pizza for Peter. And now we have to search 2 floors and find Peter.
Yep. Yep, that's fine. And then line 3C under beverages. So patrons with beverages should exercise caution and dispose of trash appropriately, which may include using the sink to dispose of liquids before putting in the trash, right? Because somebody has a full coffee and, just makes a mess of it. They really shouldn't be dumping liquids in the trash. So however you want to say that.
I had added in glass bottles are not recommended. I don't know if we need to say that. I mean, if somebody is having an after hours event and is paid a barkeep and has wine bottles, like, of course they can do that, but
It's heavy, yeah.
so I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I'm okay with that, unless we want to say it in a different way. Any other comments, additions, subtractions? Christy, please.
So when I looked at this policy, I thought we should try to be as thorough as possible and really spell things out. and I apologize for being a little nitpicky, but can we go back to 1D? And would you consider, because Aaron, I heard what you said, and then I was like, well, I was thinking something else. So
Mhm.
what would you think if after you asked, you may be asked to take trash with you, say at the conclusion of the event, because you don't want them to say, well, I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up because it's too late and I'm tired or whatever. But as soon as the event concludes, because I think Debbie made a really good point that, things just even well-intended, putting it by the door so it's a quick pickup in the morning, but the next morning the patrons come in and that's the first thing they smell as they come through the entryway. It's not in the other areas of the library, but it's still a problem. So again, trying to define that. And then large quantities of trash. Can I just check with you? Are trash bags provided by the
No,
library?
no, they can be. We can leave them in a drawer and cover that in
Oh, okay.
orientation. Yeah, generally no, because nobody has been generating huge amounts of trash.
Okay, no, because I know this is all new.
Yeah.
And then related to this, so it's like I just go down a rabbit hole, right?
Mhm.
So before anyone has an event and receives approval, does the event process, after it's approved, does someone have to attend either I don't know what else to call it other than like an orientation to go over all the things that are stipulated in the policy to show them where things are. This is where things are,
Yeah.
because I know events can get real tricky.
Yeah.
And I know that you'll have people ask you the most bizarro things. I'm waiting for the first wedding to be asked for to be held in the library.
Done already.
Oh, okay, it's already done. Yeah. So, I mean, can we bring in flowers? Can we bring in candles? I mean, there's no policy here, but or no statement to it, but that extinguishable flames are not allowed in the library for any event. Just things like that.
I think that's in our facility rental and meeting room policy.
Oh,
but I
good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
this is
then-
filled out because it's not covered under that.
Okay. And then my other question was just a definition. What is light under 2B? Light prepackaged snacks. I know what a prepackaged snack is, but do you really mean, it can be construed several ways. Do you mean that's a portion size or is that less calories? I don't know.
Oh,
So,
gotcha. Yeah. When I wrote it, I drafted this, I was thinking of light is the opposite of hot, messy, greasy, or odorous food.
yeah,
So like a self-contained sandwich is great. Your own bag of Doritos is fine, but maybe not an order of French fries times 10 that you're sharing with 20 kids.
right.
There might be a better way to say it.
So yeah, so let me think about the word light,
Yeah.
but I do appreciate the examples under D
Okay.
because the the goal really is, and it's not stated above, but it's implied that any type of food which could cause permanent damage to any part of the facility or the collection will not be allowed in the library, right? So
Or best enjoyed in the Friends Corner, where it's more of a cafe.
hey, you guys are going brave there. Good for you.
That floor is tiled.
Yeah,
so
be brave, be
like, you could-
brave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier to clean the grease off of that than off of the carpet.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So those were the only two I was just asking about definitions and was there another place that I was nope, I think that was it. Let me go
Okay, well,
back.
if it comes to you, we can come back.
Okay,
You
thanks.
Yep, great, thank you, Christy. So there was one item that I passed over. So 2B, so we're back on 2B again. so distract other patrons are permitted, except in the areas specified below. So I don't know what areas we're specifying below. It wasn't really,
Yeah,
it didn't jump out at me.
I think maybe it should just say are
D?
permitted throughout the building.
Or is it D that specified not in C, but in D?
Yeah.
I know, but
2D?
that sounds strange, right? Because if you say prepackaged snacks that are not damaged to collections, are permitted except in the areas below, not in the Friends Corner, right? So,
Moving this
yeah.
one.
Yeah, throughout the library. Yeah, I think that's fine. Oh, and since you capitalized library, do we want to, I know we may have looked at a different, it's right here. So 1C, so library, capital L, and then lowercase l for library. Do we always want to capitalize it?
Well, that's the start of a sentence.
Right, but this is the end of a sentence
Yeah.
as the library for 2C.
Yeah, my convention is usually when we're talking about the library, if it's an entity, like the
Yeah.
library says, do not do this.
Yeah.
That's different than saying the library's building, the library's collection, the library's
Or library
material.
materials.
So
yeah.
this is library as place or entity
Yeah.
versus.
Proper noun, and I love it. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Nitty gritty grammar tonight.
Yep. Just a question I had. Because I, trying to write in my own stuff, I struggled with that. So,
Mhm.
okay. I don't have anything more. I think at this point, this is an existing policy.
No, so this is brand new and it's really spurred by continued mess in our teen area and
Yep.
finally pinpointing some culprits who are doing things like pouring a whole 2 liter of soda over another teenager's head. And last
Oh.
week we had somebody steal butter from the middle school cafeteria, bring it to the teen room, grab a girl and rub it into her hair, and then it fell on the carpet and got rubbed into the carpet. So we need to spell out to these kids in town, you can't do those things. That if you have a drink, it should be single-sized and covered. And if you have a snack, like it should be self-contained. And if it's messy, please go in and eat it in the tiled area. And food is meant to be eaten and not rubbed into people's hair and belongings and library property. Because I feel like now if I have this kind of policy, now I can go back to the people who I know did it and say, we're going to bill you $100 for cleaning.
Mhm.
Because it was the day after Paul cleaned,
Yeah.
right?
After.
Literally just cleaned the carpet and they just ground butter into it the next day.
Okay. Great. How quickly do we need this one? This should go through legal.
Yeah, I think it could wait till March, but can we go down to the kitchen use policy? Because I have a question about that. So I did have my wedding at the library.
Yep.
And I had to pay $10 for a single day food permit per Board of Health, even though it was a private event, invitees only on a day we were closed to the public. I had some of it catered and I had to get every single person I had it catered from show their food licensing and most recent inspection. And it took hours of time and effort to do all of that, but I did. And I also got my food handler license and I got tip certified and we hired a bartender and we did everything by the book as if it were a public program because that's what Board of Health told me I had to do. We're about to open up facility rentals and I have a patron who's planning to get pizza delivered and Board of Health just said, oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. So which is it? I feel like for our own liability, either a policy needs to say that we're not liable if you have a program and you order pizza and the anchovies are bad and somebody gets sick, or you order pizza and somebody chokes on pepperoni and no one can give them the Heimlich because we didn't require what we have to do as a public library to have a public program. We didn't require CPR or anti-choking. And I do feel like for all of our bases to be covered, that independent, catering and food use for whether it's for again, like a private meeting on a Sunday or a, 4-H is having lunch or light snacks on a Saturday afternoon, like they should have to go through those hoops because our library's food permit does not cover anything except for library programming and the Friends Cafe when they get, or the Friends vending when they get vending. So I also, wrote a kitchen use policy that dovetails with what we have in our facility rental policy that says you need to get all the correct permits and procedures in place and policies in place from Town of Grafton as well. And then we also have an issue of, because we have a microwave, like we have a homeschooling group who just thought they could heat up lunch for all 7 kids. Or use the gas stove to cook lunch one day when they just like walked in and didn't reserve in advance and didn't go through any training in how to use the stove. And we had to tell them no. So this kitchen use and food prep stuff is also important, but I guess I need a sense from you all if my very stringent things that I put in that I had to do is the policy that we want to have. Maybe kitchen use needs to be separate, or if we just want to say whatever the Board of Health says goes, even if that's inconsistent, so long as it doesn't open us up to any liability if something does go wrong.
So this is way out of my wheelhouse. So I will certainly open it up to anybody else who may feel more comfortable with this.
Beth, I had to deal with this when I did we used to do things for Marathon Monday in Hopkinton, and we had to do this every year. I would suggest that in both places, in both policies, that you refer back and forth to each other, and that the same wording is in both places, because you just want to be covered. And again, going back to consistency, I don't know what the deal is with the Board of Health as to why they said this is one way for pizza, because maybe they knew it was from, let's just say, Pepperoni Express, and they have certified Pepperoni Express versus a caterer who do out of town that they didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I would definitely go back to the Board of Health and get any clarification, really hammer them on this, that, the other thing. And I don't know all the answers to this, but I will tell you, your best friend will be the policies and then signage. You're going to have to put signage on any equipment, including the microwave. People think every microwave is theirs because everyone has one at their house, and they don't clean it up afterwards. And the next thing you know, you have an outbreak because stuff wasn't cleaned properly. So you really want to remind people, and if there's any way, when the facilities are not in use, that you can prevent them from being turned on or being handled. I hate to say, you may have to lock things so that people can't grab a pan and put it on the stove. I don't know.
All of our cupboards were supposed to come with locks and none of them did, and it seems to be very challenging to retrofit locks into the cupboards in the public presentation area and kitchen. But we certainly may be able to move the microwave into the kitchen and then lock the door from each side when it's not in use.
Well, how about child safety? I'm shocked in a way. Anyways, I'll come pay a visit. I was there last week. I have more books to drop off, so maybe I'll come in and take a gander tomorrow. But
Friends want books by tomorrow, so
yeah, I know.
I'm here till 3 tomorrow.
But again, I'm a little appalled, but in one way it's a compliment, very backhanded, that people feel at home at our library. But we don't let them come in and take off their shoes and walk around the library either. So, we do have to have some standards. So
there apparently, I refer to it often as a community kitchen, but there actually is a formal thing called a community kitchen that has a ton of regulations and guidelines. In the case of like somebody wanting to do exactly that, come in and cook a meal. Like I want to have Thanksgiving at the library instead of at my house because I'm having 50 people, or my stove is out and it's Thanksgiving and can I just come cook my turkey? Or Chuck Brown wants to come and bake bread because the kitchen he usually uses is out of commission and can he come in? And that's not really what we're set up for. Like, I want to be very clear that we've called it a community kitchen. The sign probably says community kitchen, but it is technically not a community access kitchen at this point. It was intended for catering. It's a catering kitchen. It's small. It's to heat things up and run a quick cycle dishwasher to sanitize, or to allow us to offer programs where somebody can come in and be able to have a hand wash station and sanitizing station for dishes, so they can do a demo and serve food in the same program. And that's what the kitchen is for.
Let's spell it out a little bit more then in the
Okay.
policy. I know,
yes.
I know it puts more words in, but again, let's define the parameters of community kitchen.
Do we need to split this policy into food and beverage use in the library and kitchen use policy?
Nope, it can be in one, it's just gonna be big. They're longer.
Yeah.
Because you don't want someone to pick up one policy and say, well, I didn't see the other, you know? And they do dovetail each other. I really like what you put under C, because you have to have that safe serve certified food manager. So I'm glad, I was really relieved to see that. The other pieces, crowd manager, I thought that was interesting. I haven't heard of that position. I know about the first aid certifications, but I didn't know there was a crowd manager certification.
It's
So,
easy, it's free, it's a 15 or 20-minute tutorial online from the state
Right.
fire department. And
Oh,
when I do orientation, yeah, it's online on Commonwealth of Mass. So if I orientate someone to the room, then I make a point to say, here's the fire extinguisher, here's the fire pole, do not block them. Here are the emergency exits. We need 18 inches on each side for a chair to roll out. And I'm trying to get in the habit of, when I'm running a meeting, not just to tell people where the restrooms are, but here, if like a flight attendant, here's the emergency exits, go out this way, that way. Here's where those emergency things are located.
I'm thrilled to see that in there.
Okay, I'd like to just take a moment and allow Debbie to add to the conversation. If there's something I don't want you to miss it.
Thank you. I think I'm a little unclear on C, the kitchen may be booked in advance by a Grafton resident with a library card. I just feel like there more needs to be added, like Christy was saying, to clearly define what it's for. Because we say it's not a community kitchen, but then you say it can be, I don't know. Am I the only one that's, I feel like there should be more wording there to specify maybe booked by a Grafton library resident with a card for an event or something along those lines. Just, we do have a lot in there about what it's not for, but it just seems to me, I don't know.
Section A there does spell out what it is for. Groups convening a meeting during a meal, groups intending to serve refreshments as part of a program or meeting, and library staff presenting. It's coming up now, but so it is mentioned right above there, but yeah, it couldn't hurt to throw
Right.
another line in there,
I'm thinking about the form that patrons will use when they go to request a room. And basically they would check off the button, the radio button or whatever that says kitchen. So maybe saying that kitchen use is designated through selecting when you make a reservation for meeting room 103B. Or just I could just say 103, it's on the B side.
Right, that way, they're intending to use it, not just, oh, it's there and do whatever the heck you want with it once you have the room, Is that kind of what you were thinking?
Yeah, it sounds like if you book that, then you can use the kitchen, even though we say in another part that that's not what it's for.
And don't forget, the 1-day food permit should be produced to you 24 hours in advance or business day in advance. Make sure you define those terms as to how far in advance you want that in your on the property, because it needs to be displayed. And just an idea, Beth, you might want to have a clear plastic page protector on the refrigerator door with a magnet. And when you get that, that's where it goes. but put it wherever you want. We put ours on the refrigerator. So,
Let's see. 58 hours in advance. It's getting late, I can't spell. I haven't made a checklist yet.
Right, so it will be appended to this policy.
I think-
Is that why you wrote appended?
Yeah, it could be, it could also just be part of the orientation that we provide. I haven't formalized anything.
Yep.
Because there've been so few, and I've
Okay.
just been taking things on a case by case basis.
Okay. So will we intend to review this again at our next meeting, or do we feel, this is ready to go to legal?
It's not ready.
no, yeah,
Okay.
there's some work. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Any further discussion about the food and beverage and kitchen use policy? Okay. Well, thank you
Oh.
everyone for their input. Go ahead.
One more thing. Beth, do you have a sheet of rentals, for rental costs to be referred to within your policy? Like if you rent this space, it's this much. If you rent this, because, I mean, you do have that, right?
In the facility rental policy, yes.
Okay, thank you. That's what I thought. So I would refer to that in your, so I have this up on my computer too. Where did I see it? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I feel like
Good.
I've been looking at a computer all day, but anyways, wherever you refer to the rental agreement and whatever, if you can refer to that policy again, you want these policies
Yeah,
to cover each other. You want overlap.
Yeah.
I forget where it is.
I
but
found it.
know-
It's a cleaning fee, I think. So I
Okay.
just put it in here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's under kitchen use.
Mhm.
Meeting
Yeah.
room. Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, again, going back to making sure that that these all align with each other. And, again, that critical eye. So,
Oh, so I've just been informed that 2 staff have gone home sick and we're down to 4 people in our building, including me.
Okay.
So minimum staffing policy dictates that we close in that event, I believe. Because I'm supposed to go home as soon as this meeting ends.
So,
Yeah,
so why don't we tie up the meeting so that you can attend to that?
okay.
So,
I think we can stay open, but I have to go sit downstairs, so. One
so,
more goes, then we can't stay.
so moving on then, so we agreed we're gonna probably review this at the next meeting. So we already discussed the discussion of items to present to the Board of Trustees. We said inclement weather policy, security camera policy, and parking policy. So we in agreement? Okay. Do we have any public input? Okay, hearing none. The next meeting is to convene on Wednesday, March 8th. It says via Zoom. So I'm available to meet on the 8th. However, we may want to discuss, first of all, alternate dates if we have to, but perhaps, getting rid of the remote meeting policy. We can agree to meet, remotely in March or in person in April. So I think we have at least till March to meet remotely again.
The second Wednesday of the month is ukulele, and I would prefer to convene, be in the program that I set up.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
So if there's an alternate date, I can also meet Thursday the 9th, or Monday the 6th.
I have building committee on the 6th, and I cannot do Thursday nights.
I could do Tuesday, the 7th,
I have chorus
or we could move,
available on the 1st
yeah, the
or
1st.
the 15th, but that's got close to the 22nd.
I can meet on the 1st.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The first is my son's birthday, so I would be out.
We could meet the week before the trustees meeting in March. So that's the week of the 13th.
Yeah.
Um,
15th,
So the
Yeah.
15th.
the
Wednesday
Ides
the
of
15th.
March.
You want to meet on the 15th? Yep. Yeah, we can meet the 15th. That
All
seem
right,
to
so
work?
I'm gonna bow out and leave the meeting running to go take care of the building, so
Very
you can
good.
continue and adjourn as needed.
Thank
And
you,
I didn't
Beth.
see anybody who wanted to publicly comment, so
Very good.
I will put Debbie in charge.
Ooh.
Leave meeting.
Great. It says Debbie Jackson is the host now.
Ooh, fancy.
Mhm. Okay, so I think we said the 15th.
Yes.
Okay. And do we want to meet in person? I'm right up the street from the library, so I can certainly meet in person if people are amenable to that. Debbie, what are your thoughts?
I'm 5 minutes away, so I can do whatever works.
Okay, and John,
Yeah, I can meet in person too. We have the girls troop will be meeting on Wednesdays, but that's fine. So I can
You
do it in
can-
person.
you can stay for as long as you need to, right? In regards to you'll stay as long as you can.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, I need to like go and pick up
Yep.
Jasmine and bring her back to the library or something like that.
So, and Christy, I love the input you were able to provide to us tonight. Is this something that you'd be able to attend in person going forward? Or is it something that you're
Yeah.
less likely to come to?
No, I'll try to come. I anticipate that would be a great thing to do once this remote, stuff changes possibly in May. Since you changed to that week, though, I may not be able to come, but I may be able to come. So it all depends on what is planned for that week. My daughter's going to be here that week, so I'm trying to be open to any day trip. type
Yes.
plans.
Yeah.
But other than that, they all know I do this, so they're like fine if I have to sneak off for a while and help.
Yeah, and we tend to keep the meetings just to an hour. And if
Right.
I think if we can meet an hour in person at the library, Debbie,
Yeah.
would you mind booking a room for us? And I don't know if we necessarily need I guess you need a way to record it. And maybe we
Okay.
can maybe we can check with
we can
Bob
work on that.
Datoma. Yeah,
Okay.
very good. Okay, next item on the agenda is adjournment, I think, right? There we go. Yep. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, any
Yes.
second?
I second the motion.
Great. Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aaron, aye. Debbie
Aye.
and John.
Aye.
Great.